where there is no linkage whatsoever. We got the two guys on the call, President Trump and President Zelensky, who have said there was no pressure, no pushing, no linkage. We got the fact that the Ukrainians didn't know the aid was frozen at the time of the call. And most importantly, as was pointed out today by so many people, including Representative Stefanik, that the Ukrainians took no action, no announcement to get the call, no announcement to get the meeting in New York, no announcement to get the aid released. Those are the facts. Representative Stefanik.
As every day goes by, Adam Schiff and the Democrats...
Hello, today I will tell you about a profitable way to earn cryptocurrency. Exactly in 1 minute, we can earn from 10 to 50% to the amount. The strategy of earning is to buy cryptocurrency on one exchange and sell on another, and the profit we will get thanks to the difference in exchange rates on the exchanges. To begin, we will need to go to the site Binance, buy cryptocurrency, for example, Bitcoin. Then go to the DEM's website and sell Bitcoin on it. After that, we withdraw the received money back to Binance. As you can see, initially on Binance I had 4,000 USDT, and after my strategy on the balance of $5,200. And in this way, we can earn many times. The strategy may change, so get in before it's too late.
Wishful thinking for impeachment crumbles. They have yet to point to a single shred of evidence of high crimes and misdemeanors of bribery. Today, taking the witness's own testimony, Ambassador Sondland testified that the president said directly to him, there is no quid pro quo. I want nothing. I want nothing. I want President Zelensky to do what he ran on, which is very clearly anti-corruption, but the facts remain the same. Ukraine received the aid. There was no investigation before the meeting. There was no investigation before the aid release. There was no investigation before the call or after the call. So the facts remain the same throughout this process, despite Adam Schiff continuing his political wishful thinking.
We'll take some questions.
Mr. Jordan, do you think it's just a coincidence that the aid was released after Congress began an investigation, after the White House learned about the whistleblower complaint? It's just a coincidence that that happened just days before the White House actually released?
No, it got released because so many senior government officials met with President Zelensky and they determined, hey, this new guy, this new kid in town, he's actually legit. He's a real reformer. That's why it got released. Oh, remember what also happened on the September 5th? The same day the senators are meeting with President Zelensky. You know what happens in their parliament? They start the anti-corruption court. They'd already passed getting rid of sovereign immunity for members of Congress, members of their parliament. So all those things are happening, and they say, and plus, remember, Senator Johnson came back, Senator Murphy came back, Senator Portman, they all talked to the president, and they said, we really want this aid released before September 30th, and the president doesn't. They want to say it's because there started some investigation. They've been out to get the president forever. It happened because we all believed that President Zelensky was legitimate.
Are you concerned that Ambassador Sondland today threw cabinet secretaries and the vice president into the impeachment fray and told the committee that, he spoke to the vice president, spoke to the secretary of state?
No, I'm more concerned that I think it was 359 times in the ambassador's deposition where he said, I can't recall, I don't remember, I'm not going to answer it. I do think I'm more concerned about the fact that the most exculpatory piece of evidence was what Representative Stefanik just talked about, the statement from the president that he gave directly to Ambassador Sondland, and of course he left that out of his 23-page opening statement. I'm more concerned about those things.
If you have no concerns about the vice president and these other officials, why not let them come and push the White House to let you speak to them? Some of these other
That's the White House's call. That's the White House's call. That is the White House. Look, this process has been so unfair. What Adam Schiff has done, just the fact that he told us last night at 10, if we wanted to look at Mr. Sandy's deposition and bring some of that material forward for today's hearing, we found out about that, I believe, last night at 10 o'clock. Our lawyer got notified. How are we supposed to? We would have liked to have Mr. Sandy's deposition available to be able to use in this proceeding today. We couldn't do that. That's just one of the many unfair things, and you all know it's been unfair throughout this entire process. You all know that.
Before the Democrats get forward their witnesses, wasn't this an effort again to try to discredit him?
Wasn't our witness. No, our witnesses were Hale, Morrison, and Volker. And you saw yesterday with Mr. Morrison and Mr. Volker, the facts there, that was a good day. Mr. Volker is the special envoy, and he is the definitive narrative on this entire thing. And you saw how good he did yesterday in that hearing. And those were, remember, they're all Adam Schiff's witnesses. He called them all. We just said we'd like all the witnesses you called to come in on our list. We put Morrison, Hale, and Volker on our list. Mr. Hale, you'll hear from here in about an hour.
And you know what witness they will not call is Hunter Biden. Every single witness that has been asked the question, do you think there is a potential appearance of a conflict of interest with Hunter Biden sitting on the board of Burisma? Every single witness who has been asked that question had said yes, including Ambassador Sondland. Hunter Biden is on our list, as well as the whistleblower for closed-door depositions, and Adam Schiff continues to run this partisan process in not calling the witnesses we requested.
Congresswoman, also every witness has virtually raised concerns about Rudy Giuliani's role in this. Don't you have any concerns with Rudy Giuliani was pushing in some sense ran counter to the national interest?
You know, as we've heard from our witnesses, this was an official channel, and the president can choose who he wants when it comes to conducting his foreign policy. But from the witnesses who are here today, when it comes to impeachable offenses, they have yet to point to a shred of evidence when it comes to impeachable offenses.
He's pushing investigations that could help the president politically. That's okay?
That's not accurate.
Democrats are going to impeach him.
Rudy Giuliani wasn't pushing investigations that could help the
As
president
Ambassador
politically?
Sondland testified today, his understanding of the investigations were into Burisma, into the 2016 elections, and Ambassador Sondland specifically said that he did not understand that as meeting into Biden. And let's be clear, Manu, the one investigation that has been done into Burisma was done under the Obama administration. The Obama administration had concerns with Hunter Biden sitting on the board of Burisma, as we know from Ambassador Yovanovitch, when she testified and said that she was prepared with that information before her Senate confirmation hearings. So when we talk about investigations, the fact of the matter is the one investigation into Burisma was done in during the Obama administration.
For a Biden investigation.
What's the strongest piece of exculpatory evidence that you've heard that exonerates the president? The strongest piece of
The president's own words.
The president's own word.
Just said to Mr. Sondland. We've said it, I think, 3 times here in the last.
Ambassador, I just want to clarify something before I yield. Are you against political appointed ambassadors? Is it not the president's prerogative to appoint whoever he wants in any country?
First of all, I am not against political ambassadors, just to be clear.
I just wanted to clear that up. Now, can I yield to Ms. Stefanik? I need your permission. You may yield.
Thank you. Ambassador, before I was interrupted, I wanted to thank you for your 30 years of public service, from Mogadishu to Ottawa to Moscow to London to Kyiv. I also wanted to thank you for hosting the numerous bipartisan delegations. I led one of those delegations in Ukraine. My questions today will focus on 3 key themes. The first is the role of the president when it comes to appointing our ambassadors. The second is long-standing corruption in Ukraine. And the third is aid to Ukraine. Earlier this week, as you know, we heard from George Kent. And I know that Mr. Kent is a colleague, a friend, and someone who you deeply respect. In his testimony, he stated all ambassadors serve the pleasure of the president. You would agree with that statement, correct?
Yes.
And in fact, he elaborated and went on to emphasize that this is without question. Everybody understands that.
Hello, today I will tell you about a profitable way to earn cryptocurrency. Exactly in 1 minute, we can earn from 10 to 50% to the amount. The strategy of earning is to buy cryptocurrency on one exchange and sell on another, and the profit we will get thanks to the difference in exchange rates on the exchanges. To begin, we will need to go to the site Binance, buy cryptocurrency, for example Bitcoin, then go to the DEM's website and sell Bitcoin on it. After that, we withdraw the received money back to Binance. As you can see, initially on Binance I had 4,000 USDT, and after my strategy on the balance of $5,200. And in this way, we can earn many times. The strategy may change, so get in before it's too late.
You would agree with that?
I would agree with that.
And in your own deposition under oath, you stated, quote, although I understand, everyone understands that I serve at the pleasure of the president. Is that correct?
Yes.
And just so there's no public confusion, you are still an employee of the State Department, correct?
Yes.
And in the deposition, you say that you personally asked whether it would be possible to be a fellow at Georgetown University, and that was arranged for me, and I'm very grateful. That's where you're posted today, correct?
Yes.
Georgetown students are lucky to have you. We are lucky to have you in Foreign Service, and I again want to thank you for your tremendous public service. Shifting gears to corruption in Ukraine, in your powerful deposition, you described, quote, "We have long understood that strong anti-corruption efforts must form an essential part of our policy in Ukraine, and now there is a window of opportunity to do that." And so why is this important, and why is this important to us? Put simply, anti-corruption efforts serve Ukraine's interests, but they also serve ours as well. Is that still your testimony?
Yes.
And particularly at the critical time in 2014, after the Ukrainian elections, you testified that the Ukrainian people had made clear in that very election that they were done with corruption, correct?
Yes.
And you also testified that the Ukrainians thought it would be a good idea to set up this architecture of a special investigative office that would be all about the crimes of corruption, correct?
Yes.
And I know this was before you arrived in Ukraine, but you are aware that the first case that the US, UK, and Ukraine investigators worked on was in fact against the owner of Burisma.
Yes.
And that was during the Obama administration.
Yes.
And in your testimony, you said today, the investigation was never formally closed because, quote, "it's frankly useful to keep that company hanging on a hook," right? That's your quote.
Yeah, the Ukrainian investigation was never closed.
Partnered with the US and the UK.
As I understand it. Yeah, although because we didn't see the Ukrainians moving forward on that, we no longer partner with them on that case or in that way.
But let's take a step back. The first time you personally became aware of Burisma was actually when you were being prepared by the Obama State Department for your Senate confirmation hearings. And this was in the form of practice questions and answers. This was your deposition. And you testified that in this particular practice Q&A with the Obama State